Hey guys, I'm Jaded and this is a quick video on how I do my sketches, as well as some tips for using SAI. I start off with a colored background. It's usually a light color, and then I make another layer over that for my sketch layer. And you can use any tool you want. I have a particular brush I like to use for sketches. It's really messy. It's a simple circle paintbrush with no texture. The minimum size is at 18%, density is 100, blending is 0, dilution 35, persistence 45, keep opacity is checked. Then under advanced setting 4 for the quality. Edge hardness is 0, minimum density is 100, max density pressure is 100%, and the hard to soft meter is at 100. Density, size, and blend are all checked. It'd be a good idea if you're doing more detailed and extensive pieces to do a few composition sketches and pick one from there that you like before you start doing the line art or any other rendering. Since this is really simple, I just started sketching a more detailed version right away. I use the lasso tool to pick up certain pieces of the drawing, and you can rotate it, move it around, stretch it out, do whatever. I don't worry about getting the lines perfect because I'm going to be doing that with the line art. You just want to focus on getting the feel of the drawing down, and then some details that will help you during the line art process. The stabilizer at the top of the screen next to the invert button, that helps stabilize your brush strokes so they're less shaky. But the higher the setting is, the slower your brush will be. The highest setting is S7, but if you try to draw with that, your brush will lag behind a bit. I like to keep it on 10 usually. For my references that I'm going to be using, I like to compile them all into one thing. I usually use MS Paint, so I can look at all of them at once. Sometimes I use SAI for this too. It's really important to use references. It'll make your art so much better, instead of just trying to remember what things look like. And with hands, if you need to use references for hands but you can't find a particular angle, I like to take a picture of my own hand from that specific angle. I copied my sketch layer and lowered the opacity, and I moved it over with the Move tool, which is the crosshair looking tool underneath the Marquee tool. So I can get the proportions of my next figure correct, so one's not way larger than the other. press the invert button at the top. It says normal and it has the two arrows pointing in different directions. When you click those arrows, it switches to invert and it inverts the canvas for you. Just click on it again to switch it back to normal. This is really important to do because when you're drawing something, your brain gets used to what you've been seeing for that period of time. So when you invert it, it's like a fresh new look at that drawing, and you can see your anatomy mistakes really clearly. Some shortcuts that I use: Control Z, of course, for undo, and I use Control D a lot, which is deselect. Also, Control Y does redo. When drawing more complicated shapes, like the rifle, I like to put down blocks of color and then erase what I don't need, kind of like sculpting from a piece of rock. Doing it this way, I can see the form a lot easier instead of just going straight to trying to put down outlines. If you want to change the color of your line art, you can select Preserve Opacity, which is on the left under the opacity bar, where you see Preserve Opacity, Clipping Group, Selection Source. Click Preserve Opacity, then pick a different color with whatever brush you're using and just paint right over it. You can also change the color of things by going up to Filter, Hue and Saturation, and that's where the brightness and contrast is too. For hands, I draw the general shape of the hand. You just get the idea. Especially when you're doing poses where you're holding something. It's better to have the form wrapping around the object and then later define the fingers. Where you have the two color boxes above your brushes, there's a little box that's checkered. If you click that, it'll turn any brush you're using into an eraser. So you can erase with the same consistency that you're painting or drawing with. See, when I invert it here, I can tell that the one figure is leaning over a bit. So I fixed the head position, rotated it a bit to make the sketch more upright. And I flipped the female character so that both weapons are pointing towards the middle. It's going to lead your eye to the center rather than away from the drawing. Alright, that's it for the sketch. I'll put a link to the finished drawing in the description. Thanks for watching. Let me know if you want me to show a progress video for the line art as well. See you later.